Wednesday meeting, or at least 3 of those a year, is my understanding, to hold some sort of strategic planning, that was the agreement. So I don't know if you need an additional group to plan those or
Right.
to talk about that.
So what would that ad hoc committee entitled strategic planning involve? And originally, it was Thomas and Roden.
I don't think, I'm not sure what it was that this refers to, but I think the one you're referring to is you and I.
That's right.
Yeah.
So I don't know if this is a mistake or this is a committee that,
No, this is the one, this strategic planning is the one that's dealing with staff and on the staffing issues that, you had the 4 priorities, and this one is about staffing and services and.
oh, right, so sales tax sharing really isn't one of the committees that
No.
came
not-
out of, okay, so that's,
It was an existing.
Any further council discussion before we ask for public input on this item?
Well, I would like to say that with regard to the Library Advisory Board, I will leave that on a plank before I leave it willingly. I love that thing.
Oh, that's great. I was just
Do you want to hang on to that?
hoping that all the roles could be shared decently. The new member of the council would have some roles. I know that I had only, for a long time, my only significant role was Inland Water and Power Commission, and I felt like maybe I wasn't carrying my fair share. So, and I realized that if Councilmember Roden is involved with MCOG and LAFCO and the tax sharing issue, that's a tremendous amount for her to take on. So.
And I would just like to follow up on the strategic planning ad hoc. If the council would like to have a group that works with me to plan those quarterly meetings, that would be most welcome too.
Further council discussion before we get input from the public.
Mr. Baldwin? Well, I want to say that I would appreciate if the council's willing that Councilmember Crane and I could continue as needed, to talk to each other and to talk to the city manager in regards to strategic planning. That we can, just exist and not necessarily have regular meetings scheduled. Is that acceptable to everyone?
fine with
and
me.
To Councilmember Crane?
It's fine with me.
We should perhaps come up with a different name for it so we don't have this confusion.
I agree. Input from the public.
Eric Crane. You're going to have a new councilman. It would seem that finding out what their skills, talents, and interests are might be beneficial before you go making assignments for the remainder of these. So it seemed like another month of you guys serving in your existing posts, and then a discussion with that incoming member possibly be beneficial.
That makes a lot of sense to this member of the council. It was an agenda item, so we simply got the discussion going for people to be thinking about it. I don't know that there's any rush to a decision this evening.
Agreed.
Agreed.
Further discussion? If not, we're going to move on to the next item. Item 11B, discussion and possible appointment of planning commission members. Is there any discussion at this time? Is it relevant to discuss it at this time? Or should we wait until we have a new member to the council?
Which one? I'm sorry.
We're on 11B, possible appointment of planning commission members.
I'm prepared, but I can wait, doesn't matter.
Councilmember Crane.
I would select Michael. Dead brain, that's it. Wetzel, Mike
Wetzel.
Wetzel.
To be your planning commission?
To replace Mulhern. He's served before.
Is that that's a formal nomination at this point?
It's fine.
Does it need a second? I think it does if we're going to vote on it.
I'll second.
Isn't it just a nomination? Well, I'm not
No,
sure.
No, I remember this very well.
Okay.
It has to be approved by a majority of the
But
council.
it needs a, I remember that we had to all
Agree,
vote on it, but a second? Is that necessary?
if there's a nomination.
I think that, I haven't read it recently, but I believe what it says is that the council person gets to select their person, and it's subject to approval by a majority. So I would think that the council person would put the name out there, and then everyone would vote on.
So a second not needed.
Yeah, I don't think you would
Yeah,
need
I
a
don't think-
second.
You're going to have a vote on a motion that, without a second.
Well-
Okay.
On a nomination.
It's a, yeah, it's a vote to confirm the,
Well, I think there's
Pros.
always been seconds in the past, but
Well,
I
that's
really
fine.
honestly don't care.
yeah.
So,
The
roll
pers-
call.
One question.
Oh, discussion.
I think it's an excellent choice, but I also think Mr. Wetzel intends to apply for the city council vacancy, which, if he then got selected, you'd have to choose another planning commissioner.
I'm
So-
up for that.
Okay.
Roll call.
Councilmember Thomas.
Aye.
Crane,
Aye.
McCowen.
Yes.
Roden,
Yes.
Mayor Baldwin.
Yes. The other person who would have an appointment would be Mari Roden.
I'm perfectly satisfied with the present appointment of Judy Pruden.
Well, after what she said tonight, I don't know if,
I had second thoughts too, but,
She also tried to suborn a council member, bribed a council member.
do we need to vote on an incumbent planning commissioner? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Thomas.
Aye.
Crane,
Aye.
McCowen,
Yes.
Roden,
yes.
Mayor Baldwin.
Yes. Moving on to item 11C, review and consideration of a letter in support of the Community Development Commission's request to HUD, that was a movie from the 60s, I think, to reprogram 24 public housing units within the city of Ukiah.